this house behind me right here was last sold or last bought about November of 2022, which right now is less than a year ago, for $1.1 million. So that means during the height, the absolute highest point, and before rates, well, actually I think rates were at least 7% back then, that this house right here sold for $1.1 million. And the reason that's funny to me is, look, it sits right here on the water, own private dock with a couple boats, beautiful little sandy beach, absolutely incredible beachfront property, these nice coastal pine trees, 3,000 square foot house with a long private driveway. It sits far enough back from the road that you can't even hear the cars. We have a beautiful gazebo here. Right here is what $1.1 million gets you where I live in Oregon. And it's not even comparable to what you get down there in Florida, which is a whole nother thing, especially in the Florida Panhandle. But this house was listed for $1.1 million. It's around 1,200 square feet. The sign has fallen down because it's been listed for so long, nobody's buying it. It exists to serve as an example of how little $1 million gets you up here in the Pacific Northwest. And so the location of this house is up in the Florida Panhandle, which personally I'd never been here before. And I've heard nothing but negative things about the South, being from Portland, Oregon, very liberal city. People only seem to talk negatively about the South and about how incredibly awful it is down here. But I gotta say, for October, the weather has just been immaculate. It's not too hot. 68, 69 in the last few days. Pretty humid, so it's comfortable. I gotta say, it's incredible. It just makes me want to come back here. It's affordable. People are nice. A lot of things I wouldn't say are cheaper, but fuel's about half the price it is back home. Back up in Oregon, we pay around $5 a gallon right now, and I think I saw $2.79 as the cheapest they have it here, which is just, it's absolutely insane to think about. You know, it's the same gas, but we pay around $1 in taxes in Oregon, and down here they pump it right out in the Gulf and they pay way less in the taxes. Went out to eat a couple different times, and honestly I was surprised to see that the restaurant prices were really high down here. And this is not a resort kind of area. We are it's Navarre, which is in between like Pensacola and Destin, which Destin I think would be the more resorty area, or out along the coastal island is where the resorts are. But we went out to eat a couple different times, and for example, I shared a pizza with somebody one of the times. It's a $10 pizza, or sorry, $20 pizza, and it ended up being 10 inches, which is like a personal pizza. Surprisingly enough, I think back home we have cheaper prices on some things. And we went out and got a glass bottle of Red Stripe. It was 11 ounces and they were $8 a piece. So it seemed pretty steep. But it's not at all like back home with regards to the people. They're completely different. They couldn't be more different. Like when I went out to these restaurants, I noticed, because it was midweek, there was no one else in the whole place that was having an alcoholic drink with their meal. My party, which was from Oregon, were like the only people in the whole place that were having a beer, which took me by surprise. Because where I'm from, it's like the brewery capital, most breweries per capita of any place in the entire world. So that was a stark difference, and that's mostly attributed to the fact that people down here are very religious. They're the Southern Baptist Church, and it seems like when you're driving on the highway, there's a Walmart every 2 miles and a church every 100 yards. So here's what we have here in Pensacola for, well, it's a $14 meal with a $2 upgraded menu option for tatahir, biscuits and gravy, and the potatoes. A lot of the breakfast places back home you can't eat for less than 20 bucks, especially something that's done up like this food right here. It's like more of a premium, fancier restaurant. This is an IHOP, you know, so impressive.